When we talk about an agent going from 1 deal a month to 3 deals a month to 5 deals a month, it's all about how many people know that you're an agent. I think it's the same exact conversation with, are we going to be replaced? We'll only be replaced if we allow it.
So the question is this: how do most agents find the secrets to succeed in today's competitive real estate market, especially when the top agents are keeping those secrets to themselves? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answer. Hi, I'm Aaron Amuchastegui, and welcome to Real Estate Rockstars. Hey, Real Estate Rockstars, this is Aaron Amuchastegui. I'm back by popular demand. I need to say, I don't know how many hundreds of people reach out and say that one of their
millions.
I don't know how many hundreds,
tens of millions.
I just want to make sure you come correct.
Reached out and said, Matt Chick and Jeremy Fuhst were my favorite. Did I say your last name right, Jeremy?
Yes, you did.
All right, nailed it. Matt Chick is easy to remember. The Impact Real Estate AZ. We had such a fun time talking. I thought that they could come back on when we could talk about the state of the market. I also had people telling me I need to do more state of the markets again. I was doing them every week. This is our second one this month where we grab the news, we grab the real estate headlines, we talk about them, and we tell all you guys out there as agents how we would apply it to our business if we think it matters or not.
This is totally off the dome improv, huh? Just get a headline. Hopefully we've already seen the headline.
Yeah. I could have actually sent them to you ahead of time.
I feel like the audience should know that you didn't, right?
I did not pre-send any of these. This is fully.
That's an important note.
Are we allowed to plead the fifth?
Yeah.
Anything.
There is one of these headlines that you guys have seen before.
Okay.
But I know for sure.
And Impact takes over AZ. That's our favorite one.
Same thing.
It's close. It is close to Impact takes over AZ. All right. I'm just going to share my screen and start with it as we get started. Real Estate Rockstars, thank you for listening.
I feel like, okay, never mind. I'm just going to let you introduce the headlines. I feel like I know a big one that's going to be today.
Here's a big one.
Oh!
So this is Jeremy's Instagram page.
Hey.
But this was hang on. This was the news of the day. Not Flycatcher. What? Impact Real Estate, the album coming soon.
Yes. Impact Real Estate, the album.
Songs that will teach you and encourage.
Have you seen the Follow Up Man video?
I've heard like the follow up man, like follow-up man. I was listening to this. I had the sound on earlier and I was like, what? And then the question is, all right, the vote, amazing or you're so effing dumb. What's the vote? What's the vote been so far on the new Impact AZ album?
The majority says amazing. Yeah. Definitely a couple. You're so effing dumb. I immediately went and blocked those people. They're no longer in my life.
One of them was his mom.
She was like, "That's not okay."
Yeah, she's embarrassed. That's okay.
As a fun little. So, what did you guys do? You guys really? Is that really your music? Were you guys really doing?
Yeah.
Who's the singer?
Oh, Jeremy all day.
Yeah, I dabble. So we did a video to Follow Up Man.
Yeah,
right.
Awesome.
And so Matt is like, he's the guy that is reminding me to follow up. And it's kind of this funny video. And then we have a couple. We have Send Me Your Junk Part 1 and Part 2.
Such a good one.
So that should be released soon. The songs are recorded. We're just waiting on the video. And then we have like a hype video coming out that's getting worked on right now.
Where would I find Follow Up Man the video?
Oh, grab it, play it right now.
It would be on my Facebook for sure, but you'd have to go back. How long ago? 2 weeks, maybe.
Why don't you got it right there, right? Key it up.
I could probably tag you in it, maybe.
I bet we're not Facebook friends yet. Let me see.
Oh, what the hell?
Burn. Real Estate Rockstar knows burn.
Oh, we have a mutual friend.
Is it Matt? Because you shot him a friend invite, but not me.
Trinity. No, weird. All right, I'm going to friend you right now.
Okay. I'm going to tag you in this in a second.
I'm going to find the Follow Up Man video. Sorry, they're only digressing.
I post a lot of freaking videos, man.
You have several.
It's actually what his unique ability is, posting videos and being retarded.
Post. My favorite video that you've got is us on Real Estate Rockstars right here.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was fun. So was it? Yeah. So now I'm in September. Where's our Follow Up Man?
Yeah. So you're gonna have to keep going, I think.
All right, just keep.
Can't you just search it? Isn't there a search field? Oh, the nose wax one.
Yeah.
Dude,
no. Keep going. It's like, okay, keep going. Dang, how long ago did we post that thing?
That was a minute.
September, Sandbar, acoustic. Okay, keep going.
I promise listeners this is going to be.
Oh, there was.
Oh,
Right
there it is. That is.
Follow me in video. All right. So it's real news. So real estate news that I saw today was Impact Real Estate has decided to launch a series of music and to tell on myself. So we actually have a family theme song. We hired, this is our book, The 5 Hour School Week. We hired a guy to come to our house years ago and write this family theme song.
Oh my God. This is
all
awesome.
of our family values and I'm not going to make anybody listen to it, but if you go to the 5 Hour School Week YouTube page here and you could see, we spent like 2 days with my wife and kids. We were looking at, going through our family values and recording like the video and the music behind, like, what's the song? Like, what's the song when we jump in the car that we want to listen to and we're getting ready to go on a family vacation. So that is that's cool. We're going to go into some other news now that the listeners more have probably been waiting for. But I saw that this morning and I had to go, is this real or is this not? Like that was, and that was, again,
so it's something we're just kind of toying around with, you know? Yeah. So it was kind of cool when we actually got that song on Instagram, right? So we could use it on our stories and reels, things of that nature. So I uploaded the next one. So that should be approved hopefully this week on Instagram. So it's just kind of fun. And then just to have, if we have our own little album on Apple Music or Spotify, it would just be entertaining. I would just love to be able to use it.
Dude, it is so awesome. Keller Williams has like there's songs from their trainings, like the Bolt song and stuff like that is one that I've heard people playing at parties that aren't at a Keller Williams thing, right? So there is
we want an Impact song in a club.
Yeah. I just got back from Vegas my second time and I know that I'm going to be looking, that's when Follow Up Man comes on, I'm going to be excited to hear it. All right.
It's all about having fun and doing the crazy stuff, but also giving a little bit of value. Because if you actually listen to the song, like if you adopted that mentality and put it in your business, you'd be way better. It's true. To take it to the serious side, right? If you adopted the things that we talk about in that song, you'd probably increase your business by 30%.
Inspirational music is awesome. I think it's totally awesome that you guys are doing that because it's like our family theme song. It's like those other ones that we've heard where people turn from these different trainings, they turn them into it. If you get to have some fun with it, do one of your crafts, get to share it out there, and people will be remembering. Here was a headline that man, what a big old advertisement at the top of that.
Austin Energy right there. Yeah.
Austin Energy trying to give you a 30% rebate bonus. Oh, who forgot to turn off the ringer? Who's the amateur today? All right.
Is that the couch guy again?
It was not the couch guy.
Okay.
Home prices fell in September. Buyers get slight reprieve as bidding wars proceed. What's
the best news I've heard?
There's a graph here. Check out this graph. It's like housing prices in Austin. In January 2021, they're 365. In June, they're 482. So up 117,000. That's like up 25%, But now it's back down to 450 and you're seeing this peak. So it says in July, data from Austin Board of Realtors revealed an important shift. The median home price had declined month over month for the first time since January 2021. Since then, prices have continued to decline every month. So since July, median price has started to decline a little bit. I have actually felt that with some of our flips and sales, some of our rentals that came off the market. We decided to sell them afterward.
How'd you feel it? Did you feel it on days on market, or did you feel it that you actually had to do price adjustments?
Both. Yeah, days on market and price adjustment. Because 6 months ago, maybe you just had offers the day something came out, and even if you were mispriced, you'd have an offer that was 10 grand under or something. And so it would sell. Essentially, you could have a fixer that needed work 6 months ago and people would just price it in and they'd go, okay, let's buy it. This is all we got. Yeah. And now we're finding people that are like, well, maybe if you fix it up first, I'm not in the mood. So I've been surprised feeling, have you guys felt it out there?
Yeah. Big time. Yeah, for sure. It's like what you said 6 months ago, you could literally list a piece of shit for 50 grand overpriced and you still receive offers, right? And probably multiple offers with escalation clauses, with appraisal gaps, with everything that you could think of, getting rid of all terms. Just they want a house, right? Now you have to actually price it right. If you overprice a house or a house isn't in decent condition and it's even 10 grand overpriced, you're not going to feel the traffic on it for sure. Like 6 months ago was bananas. Right now, you actually have to be strategic and smart, and you have to actually set expectations for your seller.
And on the investment side, like we haven't changed our philosophy around buying because of the state of the market. You know, a lot of fix and flippers, they were buying higher than they should, and they were basing it off of appreciation over how long they would be owning the asset. So let's say it took you 90 days to rehab and get it back on the market. They were putting in 8, 9, 10% appreciation month over month in the Arizona market, and then buying it based off that number. For us, we never went away from the model that's always worked for us. So we always bought off the closed comps in the area. So I don't think we're in any danger there. But what we do know is it comes down to 3 things when you sell homes, right? Price, condition, location. If your price matches condition and location, you're always going to sell. Personally, that's what we believe. Right now, if your condition and your location is off from what your price should be, then I think you're going to sit on the market and you're going to have to start doing some price adjustments. So what I would tell everybody is, hey, just make sure, especially in the investment space, make sure you're still buying right off of closed sales in the area, and don't base any purchase off of appreciation. But it is interesting to see stuff sit on market. But we also I don't know, you've been flipping a long time, right? Yep. So, the day of selling, the cool thing about selling a house in a day is it's done in a day and you got 30 days and then you're out of the thing on a traditional sale. But typically we plan for a 30-day sales cycle and a 30 days to close. So we plan on 60-day sales cycle once the project is completed when we look at our borrowed money, right? So I just think you just have to be super purposeful and super intelligent with the way you're buying, especially in the investment space, and coaching your clients. Like the whole day of saying, hey, I'm going to sell your house tomorrow and we're going to go over all 999 offers on Monday. I don't think you get such a client up that way anymore. I think you have to be, hey, it could take us 2, 3, 4 weeks to get a legitimate offer on your property.
Real Estate Rockstars, this is Aaron Amuchastegui for a quick commercial break. So during 2020 and 2021, the real estate market completely changed. There's so much competition in the market, so many people trying to buy and sell houses, but there's hardly any supply, hardly any product, hardly anyone willing to list their homes. It's time for every agent out there to become a hybrid agent investor, to be able to reach out directly to homeowners to try to get them to sell or list their house. We've got a new website. Go to leadpropeller.com and you can set up your own investor buyer website in just minutes. You'll set up your own URL, set up phone numbers, help go through to leads, help reach out to people that aren't listing their property currently, and have them fill out a form that says, hey, I want to sell my house. And then as an agent, you can go through and make them a hybrid offer. You can tell them, hey, I think your house would sell for $220,000 on MLS, but I can either write you a $180,000 cash offer right now, or I can help you fix it up and you'll list it for $220,000 on MLS. These are buyers that are looking for quick cash offers. Tens of thousands are submitting these forms every single day, and they're skipping the listing process. But so many of you guys out there are such good agents. It's a great opportunity to get that lead and help them maximize sales price for their home. So again, go to leadpropeller.com and think about signing up for your own investor site, so buyers will start reaching out to you, asking you to make an offer on their home. I think we got lazy too. So like 9 months, it's like 2 years ago, we had a process. We're reviewing all of the showing. We're calling every agent right after. What did you think of the showing? Any room for improvement before they even got to the next house? Like, oh yeah, we can paint it that color if they want it. Like it was just being proactive. And then 9 months ago, we didn't have to do anything. So we did no follow-up. And then it's like, I'm having to retrain my team this week to say, no, when we sell a house, there's actually stuff we can do better to sell that house. There's actually follow-up.
I think one of the most important things right now with, I don't want to say a declining market. I mean, technically it is, but it's still a very hot market, right? But is sellers are greedy, right? Sellers have heard their friends sell for $100,000 over ask for the last 4 or 5 months. And now they decide they want to list and they want $100,000 over what they think their home is worth. And so setting those expectations with, hey, like we might have to do some stuff to sell this thing, right? We're not in the same market we were 6 months ago. And so you're having these sellers who we're not getting listings because they're like, oh, this other agent said I could get $50,000 more if, we get into a bidding war over the weekend or something along those lines. But you have a lot of greedy sellers right now who want a lot of freaking money for their home when it's not worth that amount like it was 6 months ago.
You know what I think what it really comes down to is that Jeremy's 100% right on this, but I think as an agent, you have to be prepared to have those conversations. And I think that's the lazy part as well, is that agents aren't skilling up anymore. They're not working on how to have a price reduction conversation. They're not working on, how to communicate effectively with a seller and explain the process and explain it on the front end. So there's no surprises if we are doing price reductions. It used to be very common to have to do price reductions on properties and having that conversation with the seller. So I think you just have to skill up as an agent and be prepared for any conversation that might come up and have them on the front end rather than promising the world.
Yeah, it's, one of the things that I think for all of our agents listening out there is get the stats for your market. Mm-hmm. Because let's say you do a showing back in June when median price is 482 and you do a presentation and you tell that seller, we're going to sell your house for 482 and we missed it. Right. And right now they think you're the only agent in Texas or the only agent in your market that can't sell a house really quick. What's wrong? So grab the data to be able to tell them and be able to show them this and say, look, prices are down from where they were. Prices are back. They're still way up from January, but they're definitely down from June. They usually decrease every December, seasonally anyway. We didn't see that in 2020 because looking back on this chart, it's just continued to go up. But years past, we'd see a decline over the wintertime. But get this data because you want data to protect you. If you're an agent out there working and you're getting sellers some sellers will be super disappointed that you didn't sell their home. Again, there's greediness. There's also just the fact that their friends said what experience they had. For some people put their house on the market specifically because their friend said, I got $200,000 over asking and it took me no time at all to sell it. So I think that's going to be
educated. And like what we teach is you got to own that shit. Like as an agent, right? If your client's pissed off, 99% of the time, it's the agent's fault because we didn't give them a heads up on what to expect. And so if you go in saying and promising the world, like Matt said, hey, we're going to sell this fucking house in one weekend and we're going to have 1,000 offers because that's what the market has shown this year, you're going to be wrong and you're going to look like an idiot and the client's going to get pissed and it's our fault. Right. And so I always try to take responsibility for everything that I do when it comes to my clients, because I could have done a better job prepping those clients or prepping the house or marketed the home better, whatever it is. But if your client's angry for whatever reason, and a lot of people are getting angry right now, especially on the buy side, but we're seeing it more on the sell side as the market kind of goes down. Like you have to own it, whatever it is. We got to set those expectations for our clients so they're aware of what's happening. And if we're comping a house, so like we teach when we go on listing appointments, we comp the house right in front of them so they can get full transparency of what we're looking at for a few reasons. One, so if an agent comes before or after us and says they can get 50 grand more for the home, like we're showing them what the market is doing and we're showing them the trends. Hey, this home actually sat on the market for 45 days if they priced it 10 grand higher than this other comp that sold in one weekend, right? They can see these trends and we can talk through it. If you don't have that transparency, you're going to have an angry client when you can't sell it for what you promised them for. So I just think that's something else a lot of agents need to start focusing on when the market starts going down is own your shit and set those expectations correctly.
But don't own the price.
Do not own the price.
Yeah. I like being able to say the market determines the price. Here's how we determine it today. Yeah. If we determined it last month, it would have been less. Next month, it might be more, but here's how it is today. But I do feel bad for the people that back in June and July were doing those CMAs. Because if you were buying a flip based on June or July's CMA stuff, now we're trying to sell it. And then the other reminder to us was get back on our game. Remember the stuff that we did when it wasn't so easy to sell a house. It is hard to remember because now it's actually been a while. It's been like 2 years since we had to work hard to sell a house. And having to remember the extra tactics we would do to make sure ours sold and said, we're definitely seeing inventory going up. I thought this was interesting. Zillow pumps brakes on buying.
This is my favorite one.
Yeah. So no more iBuyers. As Zillow pumps brakes on buying, other stunned iBuyers forge ahead. Zillow says it's facing supply and labor constraints, but other iBuyers who express surprise over Zillow's abrupt pause say they aren't suffering from the same issues. Now it's interesting. So they had bought thousands of houses. Yeah. The funny thing is Open Door says, hey, that's not us. We're not slowing down. But Open Door over the last year, they've been sending me preemptive offers for a couple of my properties. And every month it's gone up 10 grand, up 10 grand, up 10 grand, sometimes bigger. And they resent me an offer on a house and they lowered it $40,000 from their offer 2 months ago. So Zillow is saying, we're not going to be iBuyers anymore, or at least for a while. They're still going to do it, but I think they were buying a lot of houses, and now they actually have to learn what it's like to be a.
We have
disposition.
So we have a connect over there that when this article came out, we reached out to and tried to get a little information. And basically what she said, we're going to perform on everything that we have under contract, but we're not putting anything new under contract. And she didn't like give specifics on why, but she said infrastructure. I mean, pretty much the infrastructure and the way that they run it, it was like at capacity, that they just don't have the ability to pick up any more properties. Now, I don't know how to read between the lines on that. Obviously, that's probably a lower level employee or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I think what the big takeaway is, if you know iBuyers are slowing up, I don't think you have to pump the brakes personally as a smaller investor, because a lot of us aren't open door, offer pad. We don't have billions of dollars pushed into the marketplace right now trying to make 1 to 2% on our houses. What I think you can do is, I still think you should offer the same solution across the kitchen table, but you should be able to try to perform on that solution, which we talked about in the last podcast. But now the iBuyer should be you be the buyer, and make sure your numbers are right so you can purchase a house. So I hope all the iBuyers go away, because honestly, they're way more competition for us than anybody else. Any other fixer, flipper, or wholesaler, they get across the kitchen table. Our numbers are very similar. You get across the kitchen table with an iBuyer, sometimes their numbers can be drastically different, and there's no way we can pay what they're paying, because our margins are totally different on what we're trying to make.
It was hard too, because Zillow was essentially offering their estimate price for a lot of people. And like for the longest time, people have said like,
oh, you froze.
It's a good look though.
Yeah, kind of.
We should make a meme of it.
We should just take a screenshot real quick.
Like, why can't you sell it for estimate?
Got it. No, I got it.
I froze when we're live on the air, and Aaron.
Yeah. So you froze. I got a screenshot, and we're gonna make a meme of it because your face was perfect.
It'll be Zillow.
So just expect that in the future.
Yeah.
We were using Zillow as a disposition on some of our flips.
So were we. I love selling to Open Door. I love selling to Zillow, mostly when I felt like I could trick them. Mostly when they were like, "Hey, well, let's estimate is higher than retail," and they would buy it.
They paid $30,000 more than what I had the property listed on active on the MLS.
Oh,
I had it active on the MLS.
Somebody got in trouble for that.
Not only that, it fell through twice before and had about 70 days on market, and they still paid $30,000 over.
Okay,
so then I canceled immediately.
That could be why they're slowing down. The other thing the article says is it's hard to manage contractors right now, right? Like, so for a company that...
Are you experiencing that?
Oh, yeah. Right. It is so hard to get normal work done because demand is high. Everybody's remodeling stuff. You're trying to add an outlet for something, and it's taking 3 weeks to get an electrician. You want to order a survey. So in Texas, we have to get a survey before we sell a house.
Oh, wow.
They send out a surveyor and they say, this fence is on the property line or not, and this is over. And it used to be about a 5 to 6 day turnaround. It's 6 week turnaround time right now to get a survey on a house. So even if you get a cash offer to close in 2 weeks, if you don't have that survey ahead of time, which if you're buying a flip, usually you don't. So that's been pretty, it's hard. So I think that's the other thing that they're facing. They realized like they were buying properties, and that is just one part of the equation. Fixing the property and selling a property is a whole different part. Hey, real estate rock stars. This is Aaron Buchestegi, and I'm interrupting myself to bring you this commercial break from one of our sponsors. And I know you guys would much rather listen to the content and not the ads and not the sponsors, but this is one that I'm actually super, super excited with. So many of the realtors that we interview on the show, they talk about how much systems are important and how much follow-up is important. And I'm really, really excited about our new sponsor. There's somebody I've been looking at for a long time. And when they reached out to me, I said, yes, we have to be able to do this deal. So that sponsor is Follow Up Boss. On an interview last week with agent Mark McGuire, I asked him what his favorite software and what his favorite system was. And he said it was Follow Up Boss. And then he went on for another 3 or 4 minutes to talk about why Follow Up Boss was the best CRM he uses. So there's a lot of superstars out there that use Follow Up Boss. Some of the stats they gave me: Robert Slack, 1.5 billion team in Florida, #1 in the US. He uses Follow Up Boss to get a 400% ROI on its massive paid lead spend. Deborah Beagle, co-owner of the Ashton Group in Nashville, uses Follow Up Boss to guarantee that agents who join her team get 2 homes under contract in the first 90 days. That's a big guarantee for new agents. Barry Jenkins of Your Friends in Real Estate uses Follow Up Boss to automate everything so his team can produce $200 million on 25-hour work weeks. All right, so here's an offer. You guys are going to get this special for being Real Estate Rockstars listeners. Now, I've used Follow Up Boss. We've actually used it in our non-real estate businesses as well because it's so good at being able to set timers, set automatic texting and emailing, and what do you know? Best name ever, Follow Up. So here's what we got. For Real Estate Rockstars listeners, you get a 30-day free trial. That's normally 14 days. So in order to get this, you go followupboss.com/rockstars. So again, followupboss.com, just like it sounds, /rockstars. Go there, get your 30-day free trial and check it out. Especially if you aren't using any systems or any CRMs yet, this will be a great one for you to start with. All right, everybody, thanks again. Now back to our show.
I had a painter today tell me he didn't want to caulk anymore. He says that he wants the door guy. He wants the door guy to caulk all the baseboard and trim in.
He's like, I'm done. He's like, I'm only going to come in and spray.
I just want to come in and spray. I don't want to caulk. I'm like, what?
Yeah. Everything changes. Like people are, they're going to be like, you know what? I have so much work. I can do a bad job now. That's the other thing. Yeah. Some of the contractors they're like, I can actually do a bad job. And if that's not good enough, fine. We used to be able to say, if you don't do a better job, I'm not going to have you do my next one. And they're like, fine, I got a line. It's tough. So yeah, Zillow is definitely experiencing that. So their method of overpaying people and being able to process.
Who else just did a freeze? Someone did a freeze 6 months ago. Was that Offer? I think OfferPad did a freeze.
Well, they all did it last year, right? When COVID was kind of new and fresh and no one really knew what the hell was going to happen. So I think they all slammed on the brakes. I know Zillow did because this is the second time they quit buying houses in the last 2 years.
Everywhere did in early 2020. Yeah. We covered.
I think OfferPad was the first one to come back, and then Open Doors obviously kind of all gas.
I love it, man. I love it because I think it shows inconsistency on their end. And as we are across the kitchen table and you're offering the same solution to everybody that you're talking to, I think it shows consistency and the power, and it gives it back to the real estate agent rather than the big box retail iBuyers. So I absolutely love it.
Did you guys sign up for a Lead Propeller website yet?
No. Did we get an invite to Lead Propeller website yet?
Yeah, let me send. Well, last time it was my shameless plug because
I remember. Yeah, I announced it's that new company you bought.
But you said it wasn't ready. It didn't launch.
Right. I'm like, hey, I got this company now for all these. Well, you guys are the investor people that
so everyone should go sign up for leadpropeller.com right now.
Lead Propeller. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Okay. Thank you for that extra.
Yeah.
You get you guys are talking about being the hybrid investor agent that says, I can buy your house or list it. And we have these, you have a website ready in 15 minutes that essentially tells people that. Yeah. So you now instantly look better. This is kind of opposite of the housing market the prices are going down. This says this is a Business Insider article from October 15th, just 5 days ago. The treacherous housing market will continue through 2022 as prices surge further, Goldman says. Home prices could surge another 16% in 2022 as the supply-demand mismatch continues. Prices have already shot up 20% this year as the shortage fueled bidding wars across the U.S. This could bleed into rentals, with shelter inflation soaring to 4.5 to 4.5 from 2.4%. Goldman Sachs has some mixed news for U.S. home buyers. The good news is prices won't surge as much as they did last year, but they're still going up a lot. Price for U.S. homes will climb another 16% through 2022. The shortage will linger into next year. Now, so what do you guys think?
This is where we all wish we had a crystal ball to see who's right. Like, are we in a decline because one graph says this? Are we in a surge because another company says it? Like,
we just got to pull your market data, right? And what sucks, like everyone knows why there's a shortage, right? Because home builders quit building after the collapse in 2007, 2008. And so now we just don't have the homes to keep up, right? And so now that says it might bleed into rentals, right? Is that what it said? Because it fucking is bleeding into the rental game.
At least that's what we're seeing.
Yeah.
Rents are going up.
It's harder to get into a freaking rental
year over year.
Yeah.
Say that again. I didn't hear all that. Say that again.
We have some rentals where every year when we do the renewal, we see what it is on the market and we give them the option to renew. Here's the new price or not. And it's brutal right now because one of them this last week, it was like, hey, you're currently paying $1,600 and the market rent for your neighborhood now is $2,200. And we're like, we're sorry, but it's also very obvious. Look, the guy next door to you is listing for $2,200. Like, this is the market. And most of the time, about half of our renters are staying, but we're averaging like 25% rent increases year over year. And I think sometimes people say no, and then they go try to get another rental.
And then they say yes.
Yeah. And then they say, actually, we do want to stay because you're right. There's like, it's no one's fault. But also we can't, like we have investment partners and things like that. You also can't in good faith, like not raise the rent if the market value, when the market goes down or when we have a tough time renting a house, we drop the price to make it happen and meet the market. So when the market goes up, we have to raise to meet, that's the risk reward of real estate. So yeah,
the people that get those sweetheart deals at $1,100 a month for 25 years because the homeowner never felt right about raising the rent and it should be at $2,500. You know, those are those few and far between.
So the house that I rented for like 9 years, I was in this house month to month for 9 years with a couple friends. When I bought a house 4 or 5 years ago, they stayed in it. So they've been in it for a long, long time. They still have the same rent of $1,195.
That's nuts.
And the location's amazing. It's it's in Mesa. Like location's prime. Yeah. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, like 1,700 square foot for $1,200. It's crazy.
There's lots of those examples. Those are great landlords to go buy from.
Yeah.
Like if you're an investor right now, you'll see something like on LoopNet or on MLS that you're like, oh, it says it's just a 4 cap and no one's buying it. And then you actually double check the rent prices. You're like, this is actually a great deal. It looks like a bad deal because the rent price is from
so small,
5-6 years ago. So it's, I know I get people every time I talk about rent prices that reach out and say it's horrible to raise them or not. That you should keep it the same or not. I believe we have a responsibility to adjust market. And when people do find the examples, that's just like if you get to pay the same rent for 5-6 years, that's great. The way that you lock in your rent forever is you buy a house.
Yep.
Right. You buy a house and you lock in a 30-year mortgage. Like that's what every one of the renters should be doing right now is just go buy a house instead, because next year your price will be the same. And your house
is free money right now. Interest rate's still crazy low. Like, I mean, if you can't buy right now, it's because of a situation in your life. You know what I'm saying? Like you haven't money, credit, whatever that is, but you need to go buy.
They're doing EIDL loans now for, this was the business paycheck protection loans, all that stuff they did last year. They just sent out a thing right now that you can use it for real estate. Companies can get up to $2 million for it. And it's like a 3.5% 30-year fix. So like, that's better than better than the commercial loans I can get on my properties, better than so that's a little side note for everybody out there. Go look at that sort of stuff. So here's,
I like this headline thing. This is fun.
Inman. Tech will never replace agents. Here's why. Opinion article. Real estate agents do things that only a human mind, human touch, understanding, and empathy can achieve. I think this goes in line a little bit with our iBuyer conversation, right? So it says Jay Thompson, former brokerage owner, spent 6 years working for Zillow Group. He retired. And so he said on here, he said what he put on Inman almost 3 years ago, all Inman does is essentially promote how agents are soon to be irrelevant. Not providing feedback is another example to fuel Inman's fire. Realtors not providing value. Then he explains Inman maybe should concentrate less on promoting bad practices and more on promoting good ones. So he's saying, essentially he goes in and says, you're going to have local market advice that a bot can never do, right? If you know a market, you know a neighborhood, that's why you can't be beat by technology. Talks about market knowledge. Oh, there's the ad pops up. The unique property know-how, long distance solutions. So he talks about all these different ways where people are going to beat out technology, essentially, because so much of the articles that get pushed out to agents are, especially iBuyers are going to replace us. Zillow has said, hey, we're going to do, for sale by owner, but have it work where people are going to get the same price, but they're not going to have to pay a commission. And this person is saying, no, it's not going to happen. People will always do better. What do you guys think about that?
I agree. I don't think you can take the human spirit out of a real estate transaction. And for a lot of different reasons, right? There's a lot of how many offers that we get accepted because of our clients and who they are, not because it's the highest and best offer, but it's because they're a nurse in the local hospital or a teacher in the neighborhood school or whatever it may be. We get homes because of the emotional touch of real estate. And so when Zillow or all these people kind of preach this propaganda of how iBuyers are going to take over real estate, there's a disconnect because they're using analogies like Carvana, or they're using analogies like travel agent or something along those lines, where the price tag is significantly less and the emotional pull is significantly less. So one, we're dealing with the number one investment of most clients' lives, right? And then we're dealing with someone where they've created their memories with their family and there's an emotional bond with their home, right? And so a bot, like you said, will never be able to replace it. You know, I think Zillow could make a play on creating more market share and then making the salary real estate agent a more common thing, right? I could see that happening. I don't think it'll take over the market, but I could see it trending, 5-10 years from now for sure. But it'll never replace what we do for a living. I think it's crazy.
Real Estate Rockstars, before this next commercial break, I just want to say thank you for listening to the podcast and thank you for listening to the commercials that we put in here. This is how we're able to push the podcast to you. This is how we can make sure that we publish so much content and keep providing value. So here we go from one of our sponsors, Rent Ready. All right, guys, we got to be honest here. You've heard so many of the Rent Ready ads over the past really 9 to 12 months, as they've been one of our flagship sponsors for so much of the stuff that we're doing. Rent Ready is a property management software, and we've told you about this, truly working to elevate the entire renting experience for landlords and tenants. But this time, this isn't just a boring old podcast ad. I'm not sure how many episodes we're going to run this on, but it's not just to help you maintain and screen tenants and run leases. This podcast ad is actually a secret. So this month, Rent Ready is releasing a game-changing feature that will help you save a whole lot of time and headache when it comes to crunching numbers on your rentals. I don't even know what it is yet. They wanted me to start doing this and said, so while I can't share it yet, make sure that you stay tuned to the Rockstars podcast for that surprise reveal, because we'll have it on good authority that Rent Ready will be letting our listeners know that once top secret feature is ready. So in the meantime, if you're looking to get started on Rent Ready's powerhouse of a platform, I use it for a lot of my stuff. Get signed up, save 50% off on any Rent Ready plan using our special code Rockstar50. So that's 50% off any Rent Ready plan when you sign up using our code Rockstar50 at rentready.com. It's RENTREDI.com using the code Rockstar50 for 50% off any of them. And again, listeners, I got to say, thank you for listening to our sponsor ads. And if you have any interest at all in trying, any property management software, we appreciate it when you go check out our sponsors, especially the ones where I'm telling you about it myself.
I 100% agree, but I have a little different take on it. I think that it will be hard to replace the agent, but it's not hard for the agent to be relevant. I think it's up to the agent to make sure that they're in front of the people that they need to be in front of on a daily, weekly basis to ensure that they protect themselves from being obsolete. Scarcity is our biggest problem with any sales career. So how many people don't know that you're an agent, right? So it goes right back to working your database, working your sphere, making sure you're relevant with your people, making sure you're going to the things that you're supposed to be going. So you're front of mind to the people that you can transact with. Because marketing is a real thing, and people see a gimmick or a market, they are marketing that resonates with them. They could potentially be persuaded or at least have a phone call with them. I had a buddy of mine. It's funny we're having this conversation. I had a good friend of mine that I've done 3 transactions with, and he probably referred 10 people to me in the last 2 years. And he called me and he goes, "Hey, I'm thinking about selling, but tell me about 72 Sold." He goes, is what they do is real. And I had to be able to speak at a high level with the dude that I've transacted with multiple times and say, hey, this is how 72 Sold works. This is what it looks like. They do nothing different than a normal agent. They're just packaging it a little bit differently. So to get you to call. Right?
Where are you at, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm in Austin, Texas.
Do you have 72 Sold there?
No, what is it?
No, it's good.
It's just a big marketing company, and it's called 72 Sold, and they guarantee that they're going to sell your house and blah, blah, blah. But it's just a gimmick. Yeah. But they crush market share here in Arizona, right? And they have a marketing budget of $1 million plus a month. I mean, they do a lot of things. They own all the billboards, commercials, things of that nature.
Do they
but
charge
it's really
the
just
same
a program.
price?
What was that?
Do they charge the same commission?
Yeah. They might do a 5%.
So yeah, but it's negotiable.
It's all negotiable. Sure. It's just like a kitchen. What they do is they do a regular listing appointment with their process of selling a house in 72 hours.
Yeah.
And it's from list to 1 day of showings to reviewing offers.
So what they do is they go live on Thursday. They hold showings until an open house at 12, and all showings have to be funneled into the open house between 12 and 2. And so what it does is it creates this fiasco that you have to be inside that open house between those hours, because that's the only time you can see it. Right. So they guarantee to the seller that they're not going to have random showings. They're going to control the showings. You get to pick your close date, all these certain things. But really, they just sell a program like any of us could do, and they market it at a very, very high level.
But back to my point. My point was that I got the phone call because I resonated with the guy. Because we're close, we talk to him. I touch him once. I call him once a quarter. You know, I'm constantly on him. I was out in the neighborhood showing houses. I dropped by his house, knocked on the door, said, "What's up?" You know, so it's having that human connection that I think is what works. So I don't think that we will be replaced if we don't do the job the correct way. I don't think it's just going to come to you because we're humans. The question is, what are you doing on a daily basis to be in front of the people you need to be in front of to make sure that scarcity isn't your biggest problem? When we talk about an agent going from 1 deal a month to 3 deals a month to 5 deals a month, it's all about how many people know that you're an agent. I think it's the same exact conversation with, are we going to be replaced? We'll only be replaced if we allow it. And if we don't allow it, what are the activities you need to do on a daily basis to make sure you're not replaced? Because it's not just other companies replacing you, it's other agents that are replacing you. Most people transact with the agent that's closest to them in their life at that certain time.
Yeah. We always hate when we sell we essentially remember so many times we sold someone a house and then 3 years later they sold the house.
Yeah.
And they didn't use anybody on our team for it.
No.
Yeah.
And that is like, my feelings were hurt.
And it's our fault, right?
Yes. I remember the first time I had my feelings were so hurt. And then and then reaching out to them and they're like, "Hey, well, we thought you were too busy." Yep. Or we didn't know that you actually sold stuff. It was a flip of ours. Right. And they reached out to me because they we went to high school together. Like, "Hey, we saw this was your wife's listing. Can you represent us on both sides? It's your house. Can you give us a deal?" Cool. When they sold it 2 years later for a gain, I remember being so hurt and realizing absolutely 100% our fault. When it happens, it's on us. So I like your summary. Agents won't be replaced if agents are doing what they're supposed to do. You guys talk about making deals across the kitchen counter and doing what has to be done. And that is one thing that technology can't do. Or when you're pitching to them why to accept your offer over the other ones. That 72 sold example is a really cool example of agents finding your niche and market to it, because there's something that everybody wants. Some people want their home sold within a week, regardless of price. They just want to be done with it. Done. Some people never want to have showings. You're like, "Hey, no one will ever show your house. We'll do a 2-hour open house." That could get you the deal. There are so many like gimmicky stuff that when you package it together. And so even when somebody comes to tell you, the cool thing is you had the relationship where they're like, "Hey, should I go with these guys or you?" Yeah. And you could say, "Oh, we can do it just like that if you want. If what you want is what they're offering, we've got that for you." Very cool scenarios. All right, 2 more quick articles. We're going to fly out here. My son has parkour tonight for the first time.
Yeah.
Whoa. Yeah. My little,
give video.
He's my 5, almost 6. And he's been going to tennis. And then like a couple weeks ago, he's like, "Dad, I don't want to play tennis anymore. I want to do parkour." So I'm like, "All right." Like I think I said last time, I need to run him. So we got a few more minutes before I go take him there.
It's like a dog with too much energy.
He is a dog with too much energy. And he is so much from the moment he wakes up. Hey, Real Estate Rockstars listeners, this is a commercial break, but this is a quick commercial break for you guys to see, have any of you ever wanted to host your own podcast? Many of you guys thought about launching a podcast, but it seemed overwhelming, didn't quite know what to do. Something that we're thinking about launching right now, or something that we're starting to launch right now, and I don't know how many people we're going to help with, is we want to find listeners like you that want to launch their own podcast. It seemed a little bit overwhelming on what to do next. And we're going to start a service where we're going to help you guys figure out how to schedule your podcast, how to do the interviews. Our back-end team will do everything that we do for the Real Estate Rockstars podcast. We will edit the show for you. We will publish it. We will help you with your social media and your images to really grow it. So I think our plan right now is, 3 or 4 podcasts a month, for up to 3 or 4 podcasts a month. The cost will be between $500 and $1,000 a month to help you guys publish and launch your own podcast. So if that's something you're interested in, be sure to reach out to us. Go find me on Instagram. Send me a message on there. It's at Aaron Amuchastegui. All right, back to the podcast. check this out. Business Insider. This was news.
It's a different perspective that I haven't heard. This is good.
Me either.
When I saw this, I was like, wow. It says America isn't running out of everything just because of the supply chain crisis. America is running out of everything because Americans are buying so much stuff. This is wild. It says it's, because we've seen all over the news and social media. We're out of paper towels. We're out of milk.
We're out of fucking chicken wings. We're out of everything.
We're out of it. It says we imported more stuff and then we bought it. The metric tracked by says how much sellers have on hand, how much sellers. The ratio is at a 10-year low. But this is the Port of Los Angeles. This is the crazy part. They actually report a 30% uptick in cargo in the first 9 months of the year. That means they imported more this year than they did last year. But there's such a shortage. It means that inventory to sales ratio isn't low because the US is short on stuff. We have more than we've ever had getting imported. It's low because sales have gone completely nuts. In the first 9 months of 2021, retail sales were up 14.5% over the same period in 2020. Today's retail sales data. What do we do now? It isn't saying there aren't true shortages that exist in different things. Warehouses are full, ports are jammed on some of the stuff. But the first is what supply chain professionals are doing: chip away at the backlog and possibly fix the stuff that people want. Wasn't that a crazy headline?
That is crazy.
Because that is
I almost believe it though.
That make you feel better?
Yeah, I mean, I almost believe it because we do consume. I think Americans in general consume so much stuff, and we buy so much stuff, right? Maybe more than most countries. I don't know. I'd have to do way more research on that.
Yeah, I know.
It's going to make me go down a rabbit hole tonight as I'm sitting in bed at 9 o'clock.
Dude, well, and then we go deep into, regardless of like political views, there's a lot of free money last year. There was a lot of just extra money just thrown into the world, right? And there were plenty of people that didn't need it. They got it. Plenty of people I'm sure you guys had the year of your lives last year in real estate and investing, right? And you probably at the beginning got $1,000 or 600, whatever it was. So free money comes in and everybody goes, and we're stuck in our houses. And everybody goes, what am I going to do with my free money? I'm going to buy something. I remember like first thing, it was like, I bought myself a golf simulator when my birthday got canceled. That was my feelings were hurt that I couldn't go to Hawaii.
Love that purchase though.
I absolutely love it.
Nice.
But my 40th was supposed to be in Hawaii. A bunch of friends were going out there. We got the call saying Hawaii's closed and I pouted and I went and bought that. But then it was like and then a week later, it was like they were on hold for 6 months or 9 months back order. Getting my son a play set in the backyard, like a swing set, that took like 4 months to get. Like people are buying, like that's been obvious. COVID, I think they bought more. And then when you have a little bit of extra money, you tend to buy stuff you didn't really need.
Oh my God. The garage is full of that statement.
And I think that's the stuff that gets imported, right? Like, I mean, lots of stuff gets imported, but a lot of the stuff that is cheap, that seems like, oh, I can get a dirt bike for $500. Cool. Like what's
something you buy that you don't need? I'm going to change that right there. Is there like something that if you like it, you just kind of buy it? Is there any kind of, mine's tools. I'm walking through Home Depot, new tool, see it, don't have it. I
love all that stuff. And especially over the last couple of years, because it's really easy to justify. Oh, I'm not going to Disneyland right now. I'm not going to Hawaii right now. I'm going to buy this thing instead. Like we have a golf cart that we drive around the neighborhood. And like, was that a need? No, not at all was a need.
That's debatable.
Yeah.
We're going to justify it right now.
I love you guys. You need to come out and hang out here. And you can help me justify all the things that I wait for. So I'm why the supply chain.
That's same. Me too. Well, right? Amazon's at my house every day.
Every day.
I don't think there's a day that Amazon is not at my house.
Every day.
I totally agree. If you really want to question who you are as a person, just look at your Amazon history for like the last 6 months. And you just start scrolling and you're like, whoa, like, yeah, all I have to do to like, what did I buy? I don't need. I'm sure.
Well, what's amazing is having like a shared Amazon account with your wife, but you have notifications on, right? So when I'm at the office, I don't do that. I just get these random pushes saying, oh yeah, your purchase has been confirmed. I'm like, fuck.
Like, here we go. Did not need that. So I thought that supply chain crisis was.
That is cool. I like that.
There's a movie that, oh man, I'm not gonna remember it, but it's like how they almost killed themselves by buying so much junk and then they had to end up storing it outside. There's a movie. What's the movie? I'm not gonna remember.
Sounds like Wall-E
or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm thinking about. So last thing I had a couple more, but I'm running out. It's parkour time, guys.
Sorry,
U.S. weekly job claims slide below 300,000 to new pandemic low. So here's this other side, right? So unemployment is, at the lowest it's been since all this happened. That keeps pushing up. Says weekly jobless claims fell to 293,000. This is a Business Insider. Economists believe claims have dropped to 319. would have been just above pandemic era lows. So, you know,
that's interesting.
People can get jobs right now.
Yeah.
There's hiring jobs everywhere. There's a whole political thing that's also happening where people are being forced out of jobs and stuff right now. I don't know how that's going to impact this, but I think our economy.
I mean, if we keep pushing police officers and firefighters and nurses out of their jobs because they don't get vaccinated, I know this isn't a political podcast, but like there could be a little something with that. You know what I'm saying? It gets dangerous.
It gets every day and every week. There's different headlines with that of different airlines. Like some airlines are going all the way. Others are, you know, we were on some flights that got canceled recently. And you go on one sense, you're like, whoa. So people are essentially, they do a call in, right? Like they're protesting. And you want to honor everyone's ability to protest, but it's a pain in the ass when it affects your own.
Don't inconvenience me with your protest.
But that's how stuff changes too. Yeah. So I think we're going to see all sorts of different impacts of that. But I feel like the economy's strong.
Yeah.
Interest rates are still low. We're seeing this little price correction. I think it's going to be I think it's a big opportunity to keep showing why we're different. And if you are somebody, you know, you guys and us, we talk about being investors and agents, right? But also just as an agent out there, iBuyers are getting pushed to the sidelines or offering less. You have a real opportunity to go get a listing now. And if you're somebody that's been a buyer's agent for a while, I just had somebody on the show that talked about the best thing to do right now is focus on getting listings. Because even though that might be harder, especially if you've never done one before, if you get one listing, it's going to lead to 2 or 3 more deals, which includes becoming a buyer's agent or other stuff. So it's a great time to go push for listings. Yep. If there's buyers out there, if the iBuyers out there are slowing down. So, dude, we're out of time, guys. This was awesome,
it, man.
Parkour time, baby.
Parkour time. We'll be back on.
Tell all the agents just to push into the marketplace as hard as they can, as fast as they can, and life will just do the rest.
I like that. As you guys give me so many sound bites on here. People are going to want to come reach out to you again, do a reminder of how they can come find you on social and email you and all that stuff.
So. IG. I'm doing it first this time, Fuhst.
Jeez.
I've been working so hard on my IG. So my Instagram is I am Matt Chick. Facebook is Matt Chick. Website is mattchick.com. The other website
OnlyFans is onlyfans.com/ I am Matt Chick.
The only other website I have is I am better than Mr. Fuhst.com.
I am Matt Chick. It says I couldn't find you, Matt. So I'm glad you have started.
Oh my God. It's like we're at the end and you just throw a dagger in my heart.
I'm glad you just told me. I've just followed you, bro. But when we put up our show notes, I'm like trying to find you out there. And
dude, if you're a new agent and want some bangers, go to my IG. I do a ton of coaching on there.
Looks awesome. All right, I just followed you. I am Matt Chick. Jeremy, how do they find you?
Jeremy Fuhst on all platforms.
Fuhst is Fuhst. Jeremy is
KEREMYFUHST. Google me. The first article you'll see is me being better than Matt Chick as well.
That's not true. Hey, we got a new insult video coming out real soon. You're going to want to see that one.
I cannot wait to see the meme of my screenshotted face while I was talking about Zillow. Guys, this was fun.
Thanks, man.
Thank you for coming on the show. Real Estate Rockstars. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this month's State of the Market podcast.
Have a great day. See you guys.
Bye. All right. Real Estate Rockstars. This is Aaron Muchastegui jumping in again to thank you for listening to the show. Hopefully you guys loved listening to that one. And I want to make sure that you know about all of the extra resources that we have. And also we need your help. They say podcasts are free. You get to listen to podcasts for free. But what is the cost of that podcast? I would say if I could beg you to pay anything for that podcast, I would say the cost of the podcast is going and giving a review. So whether you download it on Google or Apple or YouTube or anywhere else, please go give us a review. Say what you liked, what you didn't like. It helps us get better guests. The more reviews, the higher we get in the rankings. Right now, we are the biggest podcast out there for real estate agents, and we want to keep that spot because we know there's lots of podcasts out there. So go give us a review. Also, be sure to go to hibandigital.com. If you liked any of the resources that those real estate agents talked about, we've got a huge video vault of those resources for free. Every penny that comes on the podcast that we interview, they give us something that helps them get their deals or helps them work with their clients. And we put that in the toolbox in our vault for you. So go to hibandigital.com and you can get it. If you're looking for real estate education, go to rebusuniversity.com. We have all sorts of courses in there to help agents succeed in real estate, how to get the listing, how to negotiate deals, how to become an investor, all sorts of different stuff, rebusuniversity.com. And if you want to chat with me, go find me on Instagram. And if you come find me on Instagram, you can send me messages. Tell me what you want to hear. Tell me what you liked, what you didn't like. We try to put a bunch of content out there too. You can find me in 2 different places. It's at rerockstars.com for our Real Estate Rockstars page, or at aaronamuchastegui.com for my personal Instagram page, where I can chat with you about all sorts of different things. Thanks for listening. We'll see you again soon.